All right, let's dive into generative AI and how it's really changing businesses. We're going beyond the hype today
Yes, definitely beyond the hype.
and looking at some hard data.
For sure.
We're going straight to the source with the 2024 report, Navigating GenAI's Early Years.
It's a good one.
It's from AI at Wharton and GBK Collective. Think of this deep dive as your cheat sheet for understanding the real trends, the opportunities, and also the challenges that companies are facing as they adopt this tech.
Right, because it's not just about the shiny new toy anymore, is it? We're past that initial wow phase with Gen AI. Businesses are actually using it now, figuring out the ROI, the practical application. It's getting real.
That's a good point. It's not all theoretical anymore. And the report has some great insights from actual business leaders who are using Gen AI right now.
Oh, absolutely.
One tech telecom executive even called it a world changer for their productivity.
Wow, that's a big statement.
Yeah, it is. And that kind of enthusiasm mixed with real-world use cases is what makes this so exciting, I think.
Definitely. And the impact is spreading. Remember last year how some departments were slower to adopt Gen AI, like marketing, operations, and HR?
Yeah, they seem to be lagging behind a bit.
Well, this year, Gen AI usage has practically doubled across all business functions. It's everywhere now.
So it's become truly ubiquitous.
Exactly.
I was really interested in what that retail leader said about Gen AI changing how they create content and plan their strategy. I marked that one in the report.
That's a good one.
And then in HR, people are using it for everything: data analysis, writing memos, even finding potential candidates. It really shows you the range of what Gen AI can do. And this huge increase in adoption is matched by a pretty stunning increase in investment, too. Spending on Gen AI has gone up by 130% since last year.
Wow.
The average company is spending $10.3 million on it now. So you can see they're serious about this.
That's a big number.
Yeah. It's not just about throwing money at it, though. Companies are being strategic. They're expanding their teams, creating those chief AI officer roles.
Right, which 46% of companies now have. That's incredible growth.
Yeah. Nearly half of companies already have a CAO. And most companies are choosing to keep their Gen AI strategy in-house rather than outsourcing it.
Makes sense.
Yeah, it does. It shows real commitment to building up expertise internally.
Especially with those concerns about data privacy and security that are becoming more and more important.
For sure. Companies want to be in control of their data and how Gen AI is being used with it. They're realizing it's not just about adopting the technology, it's about doing it in a responsible way.
And I think that shift is reflected in how people's perceptions of Gen AI are changing. Remember all the initial amazement, the curiosity?
It was all so new.
Well, now companies are saying they feel pleased and excited about Gen AI.
Some more mature outlook.
Right. And it's because they have more experience with it. The more they use it, the more positive they become about it, which is interesting.
Yeah, it's encouraging. And even the worries about job displacement are starting to ease up. The report actually shows a real shift towards leaders believing that Gen AI will make jobs better instead of getting rid of them.
That's really interesting.
It is. One automotive leader said it best: it's about augmentation, not replacement.
I like that.
I do too. It really gets at the potential for Gen AI to empower people.
For sure. Make them better at what they do.
Rather than making them obsolete, right?
Exactly.
So we're seeing most leaders agree that Gen AI is having a positive impact, but it hasn't quite reached highly impactful status in most areas, at least not yet.
True, except for one big exception, IT. Over half of IT leaders say Gen AI is already having a huge impact for them.
58% to be exact.
58%, yep. Which makes sense given what they do.
It does.
But here's where things get really fascinating. The report shows this mismatch between where companies are using Gen AI the most and where it actually performs the best.
Ooh, that's interesting.
It is. Right, this is where you might want to take notes, because this could change how you think about using Gen AI. Right now, the top uses are things like writing and editing documents, doing data analysis, and summarizing meetings. But those aren't actually where Gen AI shines the most.
So it's being used for more basic tasks, but it excels at more complex ones.
Yeah, and it gets even more interesting.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Tell me more.
Well, Gen AI actually gets the highest performance scores for things like data analysis, coming up with new ideas, generating legal contracts, spotting fraud, and writing emails.
Wow, that's kind of surprising, isn't it? You'd think things like writing would be its strong suit.
You would. But it turns out it's actually much better at these other tasks.
So companies might be missing out on some big opportunities by focusing on the more basic applications of Gen AI.
Exactly. It's about understanding where this technology truly excels and then being strategic about how you apply it.
Don't just jump on the bandwagon without thinking it through.
Right. Have a plan.
So if those top uses aren't the main drivers, what is motivating companies to adopt Gen AI, and what's holding them back?
The top reasons have stayed pretty consistent year over year. Boosting productivity, optimizing operations, and making the customer experience better.
Those are all good things.
They are. But the perceived importance of those drivers has actually gone down a little bit compared to last year.
So businesses are getting a little more realistic about what Gen AI can actually do for them?
Exactly. They're moving past the hype.
Getting down to brass tacks.
And looking at it in a more practical way. Now, as for the barriers, the biggest concerns are still customer data privacy, security risks, and how complex it is to implement.
But it does seem like companies are starting to get more comfortable with the potential risks and how to mitigate them.
Yeah, I think so.
But managing that risk requires being really smart about which vendor you choose, especially with the competitive landscape changing so rapidly.
Absolutely.
We were just talking about how Microsoft seems to be gaining ground on Google.
It's true. They're making moves.
And don't forget about OpenAI and AWS.
Oh, right. They can't be ignored.
That shift alone makes the vendor landscape a lot more dynamic than anyone expected.
For sure. A lot more to consider now.
It makes you wonder if the whole concept of a best vendor will become irrelevant.
That's an interesting thought.
What if we start seeing providers specialize in niche areas, catering to specific industry needs?
I can see that happening.
Choosing the right vendor might become less about overall market dominance and more about finding the perfect fit for your particular use case.
Yeah, like a bespoke solution.
Exactly.
Instead of a one-size-fits-all.
Right. So it's something to keep an eye on.
Definitely. The landscape is changing fast.
Speaking of the technology itself, let's break down some of the key players.
Sure.
For anyone who needs a quick refresher, we're talking about large language models, or LLMs.
Right, the foundation of a lot of Gen AI applications.
These are the complex algorithms that power many of the Gen AI applications we use every day.
Exactly.
And when it comes to LLMs, OpenAI's GPT is still the dominant force.
It's still the big one.
79% of decision makers are either using it or planning to use it.
Yeah, it's hard to beat.
But it's not the only game in town anymore.
Definitely not.
The report shows that companies are becoming increasingly familiar with a broader range of LLMs.
They're exploring their options.
They're not putting all their eggs in one basket.
Smart move.
And of course, we can't forget about the chatbots.
Oh yeah, the chatbots.
They've become so ubiquitous.
It seems like there's a new one every day.
ChatGPT and Copilot are the go-to choices for many businesses with commercial subscriptions.
Right, the big names?
While individual users seem to gravitate towards Claude and Perplexity,
Yeah, I've heard good things about those.
it feels like every day there's a new chatbot designed to solve a specific need.
That's amazing.
But with all this talk about technology and trends, it's easy to lose sight of the bigger picture.
It's true.
What does this all mean for the listener?
Right, what's the takeaway?
What are the key takeaways they should be thinking about?
Well, the first thing to understand is that generative AI is not a passing fad.
This is here to stay.
It's rapidly being integrated into the very fabric of businesses of all sizes.
It's incredible how quickly things are changing. Just a year ago, Gen AI felt more like a novelty.
It did, didn't it?
Now it's becoming a core part of how businesses operate.
It's essential.
And that brings us to a crucial point.
Okay, what's that?
The next few years will be critical for businesses to figure out the most effective ways to leverage Gen AI
They need a plan.
while simultaneously mitigating the risks.
Right, that's a balancing act.
We need to move beyond the experimentation phase and into strategic implementation,
Get serious about it.
especially when it comes to those concerns around data privacy and security.
Yeah, those are big ones.
The report really highlighted those as major considerations for businesses.
And rightfully so.
Absolutely.
Businesses need to be proactive about addressing these challenges head on.
Not bury their heads in the sand.
It's about establishing clear guidelines for data usage, implementing robust security measures, and ensuring that the development and deployment of Gen AI is done responsibly and ethically.
So practically speaking, what can businesses do to ensure responsible adoption? What should they be focusing on?
Well, one key area is education.
Educating their employees.
Yes, it's crucial for decision makers and employees alike to understand the capabilities and limitations of Gen AI.
Don't overpromise.
We need to move beyond the hype and develop a realistic understanding of what this technology can and cannot do.
No magic bullets.
Right.
It's like anything else in business.
Exactly.
You can't just throw a new tool at a problem without proper training and expect it to work miracles.
You need to know how to use it.
Investing in training and upskilling programs will be essential.
Absolutely. Make sure your people are ready.
But it's not just about technical skills.
Oh, good point.
We also need to cultivate critical thinking and problem-solving abilities so that employees can effectively work alongside these powerful AI systems.
Right. They need to be able to think for themselves.
It's not about being replaced by AI. It's about working with it.
Exactly.
So it's a two-pronged approach.
Okay. I like that.
Develop the technical expertise to use the tools and the critical thinking skills to apply them strategically.
Makes sense.
And this brings us to another critical consideration.
All right. What's that?
The impact on the workforce.
Ah, yes, the big question.
A lot of people are naturally concerned about the potential for job displacement.
It's understandable.
Every time there's a major technological shift, there are questions about how it will affect jobs.
It's a natural reaction.
But the report suggests we might be focusing on the wrong question.
Oh, interesting. What do you mean? Instead of asking, will AI replace jobs?
Right.
Maybe we should be asking, how can we use AI to make our workforce better?
I like that.
Remember how we talked about the change in how people see Gen AI?
Yeah, definitely.
More and more leaders are starting to see it as a way to improve jobs, not get rid of them.
So it's about augmentation, not replacement.
Exactly.
Like having a super efficient assistant, freeing you up to focus on the more strategic stuff.
Right. Think about that retail leader we talked about.
The one who's using Gen AI for content?
Yeah, they're not firing their marketing team. They're giving them the tools to get even better results.
It's about working smarter, not harder.
Exactly.
So maybe we shouldn't be afraid of Gen AI.
I don't think so.
Maybe we should be looking at how it can help us be more productive and creative.
That's the right way to look at it.
But there's a challenge here, isn't there?
There is?
Businesses need to be adaptable.
They do.
Because this technology is changing so fast.
It's evolving at an incredible pace.
To really thrive in this new world of Gen AI, companies need to be willing to learn constantly.
Absolutely.
And adjust their strategies quickly.
And prioritize innovation.
It feels like we're on the edge of a huge shift in technology.
It does, doesn't it?
The businesses that can ride this wave and adapt will be the ones that succeed.
I think you're right.
It's a time of huge opportunity.
It is.
But also a lot of disruption.
For sure.
The companies that can embrace change, learn quickly, and keep innovating will be the ones that write the next chapter of business. But it's not just about businesses adapting, is it?
No, it's not.
Individuals need to be ready for this shift, too.
They absolutely do.
This brings up a really important point.
Okay.
How will Gen AI change individual careers?
Right. What skills will people need to succeed in the future?
It's almost like we need another deep dive just to unpack that.
We might.
But we're running out of time for today.
Sure.
Can you give us a quick preview of what those implications might be?
Well, one thing's for sure. The skills that will be most valuable in the future are those uniquely human skills.
Like what?
Things like critical thinking, creativity, emotional intelligence, and complex problem solving. Those are the skills AI still can't really replicate.
So even though Gen AI can automate some tasks, it can't replace human ingenuity and those essential human qualities?
Exactly. And that's where lifelong learning becomes so important.
Right, because things are changing so fast.
In a world where technology is always evolving, people who keep learning and developing new skills will have a big advantage.
They'll be the ones who can adapt to new tools and technologies.
And find new opportunities.
Like a new renaissance.
Oh, like that.
The most successful people will be those who combine technical skills with those essential human qualities.
It's about finding that balance.
And this highlights the potential that exists when human and artificial intelligence come together.
Yeah.
What if, instead of seeing AI as a threat,
Right.
we see it as a chance to unlock new levels of human potential?
I love that idea.
Remember when we talked about how Gen AI is actually best at things like generating ideas and solving problems?
I do.
What if these tools could actually make us even more creative and innovative?
It's an amazing possibility, isn't it?
Imagine a world where Gen AI is like a partner.
Yeah.
Helping us come up with new ideas.
And solve tough problems.
Yeah. This isn't just about businesses adapting. It's about humans and AI working together to do incredible things.
That's the key takeaway.
The future of work isn't about us versus the machines.
It's about finding that harmony.
Where we each use our strengths to achieve more than we ever could alone.
I think that's a great way to put it.
So, to wrap up our deep dive into the world of Gen AI, we want to leave you with one final thought.
Okay.
What if this isn't just a technological revolution? What if it's a human revolution?
I like that.
What if Gen AI isn't just changing how we work?
Yeah.
What if it's changing how we think, how we create, how we solve problems?
That's a great question to consider.
As you continue exploring the world of Gen AI, approach it with curiosity, a willingness to experiment, and an open mind.
Be open to the possibilities.
Because the future is being written right now, and it's up to all of us to shape it in a way that benefits everyone.
I agree.
Thanks for joining us on this journey.
It's been a pleasure.
Keep learning, keep exploring, and keep pushing the boundaries of what's possible.
Until next time.